So there's a strike going on in Hollywood. Actors, writers, no longer allowed to work. I thought we would take a look at some of the work that these brave writers put out there, like She-Hulk. Probably one of the worst Marvel productions ever made. Show's bad. It's an awful show, one of the worst out there. I think if you made a chart of terrible Hollywood productions, I do think that you could put She-Hulk on that list. It's bad. It's not just Marvel bad, it's bad all around. Never made charts, by the way. I think maybe it was on the Nielsen streaming charts for a week or so, and then it never came back because the show is that bad. It's almost like you have to try to make something awful, like purposely. But that wasn't the case. They just are untalented. And this is why, if I were a Hollywood studio, I would not give in to the writer's strike, because these people have no talent. If anything, this is going to be a culling of the herd. A lot of these untalented people that should have never been working, maybe they'll go off back to Starbucks or something. One of them, Cody Ziegler, a writer for Hollywood, particularly She-Hulk. He's a She-Hulk writer. He, him, of course. Let's not get those wrong. He, him. Is complaining about his residual check from the episode of She-Hulk that he wrote, which was Daredevil's Return. He's mad that he was only paid $396. And my response to this is, of course, that he got paid $396 too much. How much money do these people expect to get? Now, I just showed you this show did not make Nielsen's streaming charts. This show is a failure through and through. Failed. It did not get high ratings. It was not popular. So how much money do you expect to get for just writing the one episode of a failed show? Are you supposed to get thousands of dollars? Maybe you should have made a better show. You might have get paid more. He had to lock the replies on this, by the way. Why did he have to lock the replies on this? Because he was starting to get a lot of comments. So he had to lock it up. Like, this tweet got me so heated right now. Why? You wrote a shitty show. Your show is dog shit. That Daredevil episode was awful, too, by the way. Did you also write his walk of shame that he had to do at the end of the episode? Turning him into a complete joke? Oh, yeah, real funny to see Daredevil do a walk of shame in his outfit during the daylight. Wow. Hilarious. Now, this is, of course, in response to some shit I just covered in the previous video about Bob Iger talking about how Marvel is in trouble. It was from a bigger interview. In this one, it says, Bob Iger says the writers and actors going on strike in Hollywood are not being realistic with their expectations. It's very disturbing to me. I actually agree with Bob Iger on this one. They're not being realistic. And how much should you have gotten paid, Cody Ziegler? Because attorney at law sucked. How much should you get paid from a show that will probably end up being a tax write-off because it was that much of a disaster? We can take a look at some of the quote tweets here because you can't respond. This guy says, somehow even myself as a lowly YouTuber has made more money than actual professional screenwriters at some jobs. It's true, yeah. And by the way, he's talking about his residual check, not his check that he got for writing the episode. If you're somehow mad about the writer's strike, here you go. The main writer of the Daredevil episode in She-Hulk got less than $400 for it, and that's a Marvel show. So imagine how much less they're making on other smaller shows. Yeah, I'd like to see how much they make on shows that actually do well. How much should you get paid for writing awful television and movies? I'm not clear on that. How much are you supposed to get paid for writing dog shit that doesn't perform well? How did I get better residuals on anime than this incredibly talented gentleman at a Marvel TV show? Probably because the anime performed. I don't know who this Matthew Wolf is. Says he wrote anime. How did you get anime? I'm assuming he's trolling. A lot of people are saying this is embarrassing and they're mad. And like I said, I don't feel bad for these people. They write dog shit. Okay, She-Hulk data reveals streaming success. Could you quote where that came from? 5.74 million plays based on the total runtimes of 68 minutes. So I don't believe this, because if you just look into it, you'll see that the data for this show shows it didn't really get any viewership. Didn't really get any viewership. I like this one. 396 more than it was worth. This is bro got paid a fast food check. He's not talented. Sorry. These people write, how much television is out there that's good? Those guys from Yellowstone that write that, I hope they're getting paid good. That's one of the few, though. There's not very many people in Hollywood. Most of them all share the same ideology. They're all woke activists. If you're not a woke activist, they'll get you kicked out of the club. As people did this all to themselves. All this content is dog shit. There's very few modern Western programs and movies that come out that are good. Most of them are all very generic, poorly executed, poorly made, poorly developed stories, poorly developed characters. You know, people that are out there, this strike is all about the bottom feeders. People that are actually talented in Hollywood are making their money. If you're actually talented in that industry, you're making some money. But the people that write She-Hulk and stuff, they want more money for being shitty. The best way to get more money is to be better. But they don't want to do that. They want to sit around and bitch about Trump all day and cry about Republicans and produce some of the worst entertainment to ever be produced and expect me to feel bad because they don't get paid a lot of money. You're getting paid too much, sir. That $400, you should be making that where you belong, at a Starbucks. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.